I just loaded in something that I was going to show you guys since we're on the topic of money and how it's spent. You want some
Yes, this is
graphs?
yes. I think you said you were going to show this last week, but we didn't have time. Is this the
Yeah.
same one?
This is yeah,
Yes.
I've actually expanded the graph based
Ooh.
off of more news that's
Ooh.
been because obviously I saw the thing about the beneficiary money issue. And I just thought, and obviously there was the news about obviously April 1st, all of the changes that happen on April 1st in terms of, pay
Yes.
rises. And I thought it's really interesting.
ACC levy's gone up
Yeah.
too. I think it was pretty minimal. It was tiny, but still.
Well, and that's the thing is, they always talked about it in percentages. So I've gone through and
Oh, I do like a dollars.
I've even got the links to the sources in the
Oh,
bottom. So
she's sauced it.
So we've got here you can see there's only a 2% increase, which sounds like, oh yeah, that's not too bad. But so if you're just on that job seeker at the top one, you see there, you're only getting an extra $409 over the whole year, which is a whole $7.80 per week, which when we take into account the different things that we're now paying for again, that's already gone. And you can look at it here,
Mm.
it's even worse for people who are couples because you'll notice that if you're a couple, you get 2,000 basically nearly $3,000 less a year just because there's two of you.
I hate the
Thankfully,
couple system.
oh,
It's real
it's
archaic, and I know people are like, oh, but it seems fair. You're sharing so many resources, but it's just stupid.
and I
It
mean,
basically hamstrings women. Essentially, it continues a
yeah,
very misogynist view of the world where women typically end up doing a lot of the what do you call it, unseen or the
yeah,
invisible work that they do, and it also means that they're tied to their husbands a lot of time or their partners
well,
who
yeah.
they may be in a domestic violence situation or
It's
in
just weird to say, oh, well, because you guys are dating or together or whatever, you have to be in a certain way of like monetarily obligated to do
yeah.
these things. It's
I mean,
it's just
yeah,
bullshit.
yeah,
You'll
exactly.
see, thankfully, with the pension, they've actually kept that rate at 3.6%. So they do have a higher percentage. But you know that hospital story that we heard about, obviously, only a few weeks ago? You'll notice the hospital rate down here went up by a whole $1.23 per week. Obviously,
What's
I've
the
done
hospital
these.
rate?
So you'll see
Oh,
here it's
yes.
55. Yes, that was that girl that we saw that news about. Yes,
She ran
that's
out
the
of
one that.
her allotted time
Yeah,
for
13
being in
weeks.
Yeah, so she gets paid out to help with living expenses and, to live
Yeah.
basically while she can't work and she's in hospital, I think it was, or,
Yes, yeah. So, like, if
yeah.
you're on supported living, it's only 4 weeks, but if you're on job seeker or other ones, it's 13 weeks because they love to do 13 weeks. And the reason I put it into yearly is because I thought we could look at what the people in Parliament get paid
Oh, this is
because
my
we always
favorite
hear
thing to
about
do.
percentages, but we never know what those percentages mean. So, like, oh,
Wait
they've
to
got
be absolutely enraged.
uh-huh. So we got 2.9% increase for this the first year. That's $14,000. 14,100. So 2.9%. I mean, you couldn't even get close. Like, obviously, they're not going to be exactly close, but it really puts into perspective how far away these numbers are. And I mean, I also read in an article that apparently Luxon stated that he didn't need the pay increases, so he was going to donate it to charity. So that's why I've added a column at the end that takes whatever they would donate out of their total earnings. So at the end of Luxon's prime ministership, he will have earned either 2 million before the thing or only a measly 1.97 million. We are paying that motherfucker basically $2 million. Oh, and he's going to give a nice little 36K to charity.
He doesn't need it.
Yeah.
He doesn't need the 36,000. He doesn't need it. So he'll just donate it. He doesn't need
And
it.
as you can see, we've got Deputy PM. I've obviously done that in half because they're taking turns, which turns out Winnie got the worst half because
Ouch.
based on
What?
Nintendo David Seymour is going to be really raking in a lot of extra money. So good thing that Atlas got him in. I also noticed that the speaker, good old Jerry Brownlee, who's fucking
Jerry
useless.
Brownlee, my favorite
Yeah,
dessert.
bro's gonna end.
Whoa. Oh no, Magenta! Oh no, they got to us. They got us, guys. They took us out. They found out what we were saying. They took us out. The Atlas Network. At least I'm the one who's. Oh, hang on. Maybe it's me that got kicked. No? Oh, yeah, no. Okay, it was definitely Magenta. Magenta! The Atlas Network. They
I
got to
got
us.
sucked. It just totally crashed and unloaded my file. Atlas, if you won't hear me
Oh,
talk about them, guys.
someone's in your computer going, no, no, they
Right?
can't know that we make $2 million.
Yeah, it's all right. It's still saved, so I can add it back in. We're good, guys. It didn't go anywhere.
It's funny how that always happens when we're talking about something controversial.
Yeah, it
That's not
does
even
make
controversial. This is facts.
the conspiratorial part of my brain fucking
They're watching. They're
right.
watching.
But yeah, so good old Jerry Brownlee. Oh no! Oh, don't do that. 1.2 million, and that's only if because I only saw the article that Luxon stated he would donate his his increases, but I did it for all of the roles just in
I think it's
case.
important just so we know if
Yeah,
who gets that $18,000 donation. Maybe it goes
yeah.
back to no, sorry, 7,200. Wait, what? That doesn't make any sense.
Which one are you reading?
Your deputy
The
prime minister.
36,000. Oh,
Your deputy prime
oh,
minister 3718, and then you got through.
yeah.
Is there
Because
supposed to be?
if you look at that's because he only does one. That's only one increase. So there's 3 columns because there's 3 increases. But yeah, it's the 2.
Oh, right, because it's based on date. Okay, no, it's all
Yeah,
good.
it's
I
only
was just
because
going
they're
to say
sharing
that.
them. It's because they're
I
sharing
assume that
the seat.
7,200 of that is going to go to taxpayers' money,
Yeah.
obviously. They're going to donate it, so.
And so
Or the
yeah, and then
Heritage
you can see
Foundation.
that. God, I don't know if they'll put that name on it, but yeah, and as you can see, 2% for all of these roles is well in the thousands. I also went and thought, okay, well, we've also had increases to wages go up. A measly 1.5%, that equals 35 cents per hour. Or an extra 2,580 per year. And that's if you're working 40 hours for a 52, and this is gross. This doesn't include taxes. I also have a quote down here. Van Velden had proposed a 1% increase to $23.40 an hour, according to cabinet paper, while the Ministry of Innovation and Employment recommended a 2% increase to $23.60 an hour. So they compromised and went in the middle, apparently, because apparently an extra 10 cents was just too much when
Business can't afford the extra 10 cents.
right.
Come on. Come on.
And I
They're
mean,
working at the supermarket. Supermarkets are really critical to our everyday needs. And those
right.
people, those supermarkets just can't afford the extra 10 cents. It's too much for people. It's too much.
Yeah. And I mean, not to mention the giant gap that we've got between the living wage, obviously, and minimum wage. I mean, and even then, like, they're getting one that was like 4.2%, which was in line with Benemetrics. I can't remember the exact word for it off the top of my head. But I also popped in here just a little bit of data at the bottom as well. So they had median yearly earnings, which obviously median is different to mean. So I've made sure to put both. But as you can see, basically the average yearly income of a New Zealander is 78,000, which if you're just on minimum wage, you're quite far away from like any of that. There's also an issue where we've got gender pay gap because as you'll see down here, when it's done by median earnings, like the gender pay gap is intense. Like that is substantial loss of like money. And then you see those percentages and you're like, oh, okay, they only took 2%. That's not bad. We got 1.5, like, minimum wage got 1.5 and they got 2%. That sounds good. But then you look at the numbers and you're like, oh, yeah, because the percentage of this number is big. Percentage of small number is small. You'll note here I put that this data only shows yearly salaries and does not include entitlements. It also doesn't include how much money people will be making on the houses they're selling.
Oh yeah, so that 2 million for the that's before he sold 3 houses this year, was it?
Yeah.
One was how much were each of those? One was at least it was 500,000 in what was it, in gains on top of whatever it was that he sold it for.
Yeah. I mean, I can't remember
After he changed the law so that, the bright line test, that would have been 10%. He 10 years, sorry. But then dropped down to 2 so that he could sell it without having to pay capital gains. Just come on. I mean, it would have put a couple of tens of thousands into the kitty. Absolute pennies for this guy. He's making $2 million a year. Magenta. They don't want us talking about this. Come on, come back. I'm gonna resuscitate you. Yeah, I the thing that really pisses me off about the how much that parliamentaries get paid. I understand that it's a high risk job and you can be cut at any point. I'm glad you're back, but I think
I didn't go anywhere.
Well, I get it that it's a high risk job. You could be cut at any point. You could lose your income, whatever. But if you're gonna do that job and you're gonna get paid that much, you better be given people who are earning a fraction of what you're earning, a bloody house. Take half your salary and build someone a house. Take a quarter of your salary and build someone a house. Or just a roof over their head. Take quarter of your salary and pay another doctor. Or just increase it by 5%, 10% for people that are on benefits. Like, we're talking absolute pennies. When people are paying $600 a week on their rents, which could be 60%, let's say, of their earnings, or more, a lot of times, this is money that actually makes a real difference. $100, $200, $500 to us a week, whatever, a pay, that is money that we can save. That's money that we can save to buy a house. That's money that, even if that's not what we're going for and it's just our basic living expenses, that's stuff that it means we can buy better food for ourselves. We can go out and enjoy a luxury, which might be going to the movies, which is bloody expensive, or a treat. But it's not even that, just the basic needs.
Craig Rennie also points out that lower income earners actually stimulate the economy more because we don't get to hold on to our money very well. We kind of have to spend most of it. And you know what? You don't have to give us much more for it to still be getting spent quite a lot. Like the point to which it, starts becoming more of a savings, it's quite a jump up. So like, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's far too much money. Yeah, I understand some of the points of views of like, you get targeted, you deal with a lot of shit. Female politicians deal with so much more and much higher risk than male politicians when it comes to things like death threats. Jacinda Ardern, perfect example. Golriz, perfect example. Like Tamitha, for example. Benjamin Doyle, for example. Like all of these people, sure, they're getting paid a high enough salary to cover those sorts of things, but that still doesn't mean they should get slung shit every other day, and it is a scary job to be in. But at the same time, if you're in that job, give the rest of us some pennies. That's all we're asking for. It's just, we just want pennies.
Really? I mean, I'd argue that the opposition is actually, they're giving us probably more than our money's worth. At least some of them. Some of them are definitely giving more than the money's worth. And I would say a lot of those are the Green Party, but I'm biased. It's fine. It's whatever. But, then we look at the ones who are actually sitting and making the decisions, and we're not even getting anywhere near our money's worth, whether it's food for kids, whether it's whatever. And it's frustrating me that like this guy is literally going to make $2 million off of us, because remember, we're customers to him. We aren't people, because we're making him bank. And that's why I like did those numbers, because I'm like, we need to put it in perspective, because it sounds not too bad when it's like, oh, they're only getting a small percentage increase. But, you know, the bigger the number, the bigger that percent is. And I mean, as you guys saw, there was like, I'll put it up one more time. I know why I think I know what's doing it. It's when I try to zoom in and make it big on my screen. But
that's what when they don't want to be able to see the numbers. They just,
when you look at all of the pluses, like in terms of how much they get per year or, you know, per week in either of these documents. First of all, I could point out the fact that like job seeker, $18,000 a year. That is how much a beneficiary gets, which you can see is less than half of minimum wage. So when people bash on beneficiaries, like me, we are making do with literally less than half of what other people have to, you know, like have. And I'm sure a lot of us would like to have work and have more money. You know, I applied for jobs. They couldn't take me. But you'll notice, even despite that fact, none of the pluses that either of us get, whether it's beneficiaries, pensioners, students, or the working class, none of them even come close to one of the increases that these. I mean, you could probably add together over the 3 years, all of the 3 increases we'll end up getting, and it still will pale into comparison, like, to these numbers. So that's really, really what I wanted to kind of hammer home, and I'll pop that up somewhere online so people can have a look at it and check the numbers if they want.
If anyone is skeptical and you're like, no, won't even, just think about those numbers every time that Luxon says anything like bottom feeders. When he says anything along the lines of they're greedy, beneficiaries are greedy, they already have too much, they want too much. Like, anytime you hear that sort of shit, just remember $2 million a year?
Well, no, in total, over his entire thing.
Okay, sorry, I was thinking $2 million a year.
Thank God, no. We pay him $500,000 a year near the end, like, you know, it's only like $500,000.
Oh, okay. So it's only $500,000. Okay. Well, he's only earning $500,000, so it's fine.
Yeah.
It's not nearly as bad.
It's not like maybe they're the bottom feeders, but yeah.
Not to mention the fucking sales of his houses.
Oh yeah, like let's not. Maybe there's some more numbers we'll have to look at. I see Rogers. Put it in the notes, Rogers. We'll look into that later.